New information out of the Diddy verse, not that new, people probably already know it, but in case you're wondering, in October, Combs and his legal team filed a request for what's called an evidentiary hearing. They said, we believe that the Department of Homeland Security leaked the Cassie video. And we believe that since they are the reason that the Cassie video was leaked, you, judge, need to throw the case out. So the judge took his time. He looked at it. He read it. And then he said, man, fuck you. Combs' team, in their motion, requested an evidentiary hearing. Now, they weren't just saying just throw it out based upon our motion. They're saying we want an evidentiary hearing so the government is required to get on the stand and testify so we can prove what we don't know. Yeah, I said that right. Prove what we don't know. This is the equivalent of the Drake and Kendrick beef, where Drake did not file a lawsuit, but he requested a hearing so that he could prove the information so that he could file his lawsuit. So it's the equivalent of what Diddy said. I want an evidentiary hearing. And the court said, why do you want an evidentiary hearing? He said, because this Cassie video was leaked. And his legit argument was, it had to be them. And they said, well, why it got to be them? Well, it couldn't have been Cassie because I gave her a bunch of damn money. Ha ha! I'm not sure that should have been or could have been or would have been the argument I would have made. But hey, he said it couldn't have been Cassie and it couldn't have been anybody else. So it had to be the government. Give me my motion. And the judge said, no. So they said, are you going to throw the case out? No. So he lost that. The court said, Now, one of the things that I'm hearing a lot is people are getting mad at Diddy's attorneys and they're saying, how dare you continue to make these motions and things of this nature. People tend to forget. You want all the folks out there in the Diddyverse who want Diddy convicted, and there's a lot. And you're just like, how dare his lawyers make the motions? Well, if you want him convicted and you want it done, then what you want is, why do I look like Bill Clinton? Read my lips. What you want is his lawyers to file all these motions, to do all of their work, to overdo their work, so that later down the road, if there's a conviction, Diddy can't come forward and say, my lawyers did a shitty job, because that does happen. People tend to forget lawyers have bosses. Our boss is the Supreme Court of the United States, the Supreme Court of the state we're in. And they check our work. It's like a teacher, Miss Crabapple, checking your homework. I did my homework well. You're checking your homework to make sure it's done a right way. And so they're checking to make sure Diddy's lawyers are doing everything. Because what you don't want Diddy doing down the road, and say that 5 times fast, is my lawyers were ineffective. They did not do a proper job. So every time they file a motion that gets denied, every time they do their work, if there is a conviction down the road, it makes it more difficult for him to say my lawyers did a shitty job. So for everybody getting pissed off that they're filing all these motions, this is what you want. This is how the system is designed. It's designed for a lawyer to bust their ass, to do everything humanly possible to make sure he gets fair representation. And that way, if there is a conviction, there's no question that it is a good conviction. Now, what ends up happening if the lawyer does a shitty job, then Diddy gets a second bite at the apple. And a lot of people don't want that. And so I'm a big fan of lawyers if they're filing motions, and they're not necessarily frivolous. This is what they believe actually happened. So there you go. Take that, take that, take that, take that, take that. Get him, Diddy.